Hey guys, welcome back to the Overjump podcast. It's been ages since I finally got something up again, so yeah, this one's going to be a little bit different as well. It's has nothing to do with moto, so if you're coming here to hear some moto guys, sorry about that. But this one I guess is like a No-tocross podcast. So I recorded this ages ago, so I'm sorry I haven't got it up, and I know some of my family are probably hanging out to listen to it. Got the opportunity to take all my podcast equipment down to Kangaroo Island over Christmas time. Even though it cost me a fortune and extra baggage, I think it was probably worth it. I thought, what a cool opportunity to take my stuff down and interview my pop. Yeah, definitely a cool dude. Someone I respect heaps. Like, strong guy, tough-minded. Yeah, never shied away from anything. Like, yeah, just a cool guy. Done some really different things in his life, been a lot of places, and experienced some pretty wild stuff. I guess growing up during like World War II, and just the experiences that gave him. Yeah, having adopted parents, living in different countries, doing different things for a living, and yeah, it was like I really enjoyed doing this podcast. It's probably I think something maybe all of us should do at some stage, even if you can't record it, but just have the conversation with the people around you that, you sometimes take for granted because they're right there, and you're always looking out and around for other influences. But sometimes if you like dig a little deeper, the best people are those that are already close to you. You just got to find them. Yeah, for me, like, my pop is awesome, so I wish I could go more and more into depth with everything, but you only got a few days while you're away on holiday, so I know I did the best we could, and we tried to document everything in like 20-year blocks, and I won't waffle on for too long. I just hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Nothing to do with moto, but sorry, that's a lie. He does talk about riding a motorbike, so yeah. He did a bit on the two-wheel life, so shout out to Roy, Pop, you're the legend, and have a listen, guys, see what you think.
Hey, I got it. Got what? I got record. Oh, wow. Put it on. Do what? Friday already?
We're just gonna like talk about, just wanna like hear some stories from your life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I thought like maybe over the next few days, like maybe like this morning, we could talk about from ages when you were born to say age 20.
I don't remember when I was born.
Yeah, I know, but you still know some stuff about because you got a bit of a cool story. Like today's Christmas.
Yeah.
And you've already had 2 birthdays this year.
Yeah.
So what about you start with that? How about you tell us like?
Well, the reason I've got 2 Christmases is because I found a real mum after 50 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And she said I wasn't born on the 20th, which says on my birth certificate.
Yep.
And she said you were born on the 23rd. And Cherie said to her, well, how do you work that out? And she said, oh, well, I didn't want to have them on Christmas Day. Another Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's how that come about.
Yeah, okay. So can we go back a little bit? You said like your real mother, and then so you obviously spent the first part of your life with, what was it, your
Grandma Howlin.
grandma.
Yeah. No, she wasn't my grandmother. She was my adopted one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And she was a friend of my real mother.
Yep.
When they were teenagers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then, so obviously you were raised by her, and then, what about your first memories as a child? Like, what was it like growing up?
Through the war,
Yeah.
yeah, well, we didn't know whether we were coming or going. Bloody air outside, it's a big hell for cat.
Where were you living at the time? Like,
Then we were living down in, no, we weren't. We were at Shropshire, Market Drayton, in that area.
okay, so in the UK for people playing at home?
Mum was she was a nanny to Brigadier Cry, and his two sons got killed in the Battle of Britain. One was 21 and one was going on to his 22nd birthday, and he got killed on his second trip.
Yeah, okay.
Pilots on these over to Germany and back. And so when they both went, and the big house that the Brigadier lived in, and that's a photo of the Brigadier I got over there.
Okay.
With the King. Like King then. Yeah. I don't know. We sort of went from there down to Wales, because Dad was a Welshman.
Yep.
Mum was Scotch. She was a Macpherson. So we moved down to Aberfan, and that's where I lost all my cousins.
Okay.
But that was in later years.
Yep.
So
it wasn't from the war that you lost your cousins? Or?
No.
No.
But I lost a lot of Dad's brothers. They all got taken out of the mines.
Yep.
And they went to, they were on the Merchant Navy. These ships coming from America bringing supplies to the UK.
Yeah, sure.
And the Germans just picked them off because they were only merchant ships.
Yeah, they were using submarines and stuff, weren't they, for that?
Yeah, and
warships,
torpedoes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you spent the early part of your life during the war, and then kind of how old were you when the war started to die down and was over?
That was a few years later when we went to Hastings.
Yeah, okay. How old were you then?
13.
Yep, sure.
Thereabouts. No, well, that's when I left school. I was 13. Would have been 10 when the war finished.
Yep.
1945. And at that time we'd gone from Wales to the Isle of Jura off the west coast of Scotland.
Yep.
And like this island we're on there, the one as big as this.
You're just going from island to island.
Yeah. Yeah. When we left the island, the old fellow, Grandpa, he was the gamekeeper, home guard. Yeah, when we were up there, we were only kids, and we went down to the little beach down there, and it was this big round ball with pointy things on them. We were throwing rocks at it. God knows what.
Yeah.
Come back home. Grandpa said, "Where you boys been?" We said, "Oh, we're down to the beach." And he said, "Oh, yeah, all right." But we said, "There's a great big ball down there with these pointy things on, round knobs on it." He said, "What are you talking about?" Because he was broad Scottish. And he said, "Oh, pal, you better come in there and sit. Have a look at them." We go down there and say, "Oh, God, Christ almighty, boys. You could have blown yourselves up in half the island." It was one of these German mines.
Sea mine.
Yeah. And it got washed up there.
Yep.
And so, home guard, he had to ring London, and all the bloody hobnobs come flying up there. I don't know what. We weren't allowed anywhere near it after that.
So did they detonate it on the beach, or?
Oh, I don't know what they'd done with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Then another day we were down on the beach. That must have been after mine was gone. and he's ahead. And the German must have been a submarine got taken with a blown up or thrown pieces. We said, "Hey, there's a dead head down there." So that was the next trip we went down. Yeah. We weren't allowed to go near it, and he got onto all the brass from London. They all come flying up there. Oh yeah, it's a German so. That was the end of that. And then a few months later, we went down, and then they had a party up, or party on Jura, and all the manors, lords and ladies all came up to this bloody great house Grandpa was a gamekeeper for.
Yep.
And all I can remember was the snow was on the ground, and put the horse in one of these sleigh things, and off they all went with all these guns, and of course they'd like to get some of the stags off the hill. They had to cull them every couple of years.
Yeah.
But we used to have to go to school down about 2 mile away, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was starting to get dark, and we had to go walk home. And we'd hear these stags roaring when they were waiting, coming down off the mountains, and we'd run like buggery. And we said, "We're not going to school. We're not going to school anymore." So my brother, because he was a little older, he said, "No, I'm not. I'm frightened." So I had to go to school by myself. Mum would take us down the road about 100 yards, and she'd come back.
Yeah.
And Grandma said, we used to say, "You can't send a boy to school like that." Because there was only 3 of us in the class. And an old lady called Flora Darragh, I can remember her, she used to wrap her hands on the bloody table.
Yeah, probably because you're a naughty.
Oh, we were always naughty.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was our schooling on.
So was this the time, was this, where does the house that J.K. Rowling come in?
Oh no, that comes
It's a bit later, isn't
too
it?
late.
Oh, okay.
Well, after the war, the old fella moved, Grandpa moved as a gamekeeper over to Aberfeldy.
Yeah.
The River Tay comes right through, down through Perthshire and through there. Well, that's where Mum was born, up at Culloch. And so they went back there, and we had an auntie, Kay, she was on the River Tay on the mill, and that's how we come to have kilts and all the woolen gear we did have.
Yeah, okay. So that was what.
And that's
So you moved there.
Oh well, we went back to Wales, and then we went back to when the old fella moved over to the mainland to Aberfeldy.
Yep.
And then Uncle Geordie is in the Lovat Scouts, one of the what do you call it? Bodyguards for the late King and Queen.
Oh, okay. So are they the guys who dress all in red?
Yeah.
With the big black hats?
Yeah, and the Black Watch.
Okay.
They were the Scottish ones who came. But yeah, he was used to polish his bloody boots underneath. We'd have to spit on them and shine them every morning when he was there. We didn't like doing that. Yeah, and then he took over the gamekeeper on Killyhassy. That's where Rowland, what she bought. Well, we used to live there in the crofters or gamekeeper's cottage.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a 100 metres from the main house. Yeah, I can remember going shooting with him. My brother went with Geordie, and I went with the old fella. And he had a bottle of whiskey in his flask. He used to fit behind his leg home brew.
Yeah.
So I'd go with him, and Tony, my brother, he went with Geordie. And I'd get up there, and we'd be shooting grouse, pheasants. They were looking for stags and deer. Anyway, as soon as I got about 4 hares and 3 or 4 grouse, they'd send me home. I'd have to walk down off the mountain
Yep.
to go home. And that was about 2 miles. And I'd hear all these funny things as I was going through the woods.
Shitting yourself.
Yeah. And so I'd run, and then I'd get puffed out. I had blood all over me bloody thing, because you weren't allowed. You didn't have anything white on because you frightened the game away.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So, yeah. Mum,
So you're wearing like that brown, very,
no, we wore anything that wasn't very white.
yeah.
Not that we had very much in those days. And, yeah,
How many people are living at this, what do you call it? Like,
Killyhassie,
yeah.
the estate.
Yeah, the estate, yeah.
Oh, there was only, well, that was just at the end of the war. They didn't have gardeners and ones who did maintenance on the places and ones who did stone walls. There was no fences. It was all made of stone, dikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they started getting cattle, and the caretakers for the big house. Well, Mum used to do some of that. Grandma. Oh no, well, Grandma, she died then. When we got to Aberfeldy. Yeah, and then we came from Aberfeldy when we left there. As the war ended, we came down to Hastings, and I finished off my school until I got kicked out down there. So that was a bit of an effort. And I was 13, and they put me out on one of the ladyship's farms, the Queen's.
Yep.
She had all the estates down in Sussex and Essex and Wessex.
All the X's.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'll just go back a little bit. With that Aberfelding house, just so people listening will know, that house eventually got brought by J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Geordie, he was, when he left the big house, he went down, and he was the toll keeper on the River Tay going across. He bought that house because that was in the old days. You had to pay a toll to go across the river in the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. But when we were up there, the old fellow was the gamekeeper, but he used to go poaching on his other reaches. And I remember one night, it was Geordie, him, and myself. And so they said, you've got to be nice and quiet, otherwise somebody else would hear us. And he put this little net across one of the little reaches on the River Tay. And he sends me up, and he said, when we whistle, you start throwing these clods of dirt in the river, and then come down to us. Well, I started throwing these clods of the river in the river, and next thing I saw in the moonlight, could see these things floating down, and they said, if you see otters, you better run like bugger because they're gonna they'll have a go at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I threw these in. I was seeing these things floating down the river from where I was just throwing them up further. And I run like bugger around screaming at the camera, and I got a clip under the ears for that because we frightened everything else away, and they had to pull the net up. We went home without any fish.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Now you've gone from there and you've gone to Hastings.
Yeah.
How old are you now? 13.
And I was 12 when we went down there, I think, thereabouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what were you guys doing there? Like,
Oh, well, I went to school there, and my brother went to one school, and I must have been old enough to go to start the secondary school. And he was always the good fellow around the place. I was always in the strife under the sun. And going to school there. Dad hadn't come home from the army. He was still in the army then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I goes to school and this bloke, he pulled me out of school because I was all late running up and down the steps, the little concrete steps. Going up there and got sent to the, I know some come up about religion. I said, oh, I don't know about that. They said, well,
Heathen child.
yeah, and I was disrupting the rest of the class. And the question was, where did Christ come from? No, I asked where Jesus came from. And I said, oh, that's a lot of bull. And everybody in the class laughed. So
Oh, shit.
a bloke called Layman pulled me out of class. And he said, you're telling lies. And one thing led to another, and he grabbed hold of me by the bloody scruff of the neck. And we used to have 2-foot drawing rulers.
Yep.
One side was sharp. And he grabbed hold of me and he grabbed this thing and he said, I'll teach you to play this. And he was rapping my knuckles. Well, more he was rapping them, or more I was kicking him. I was kicking him in the shins. In the end, he took all the skin off one hand and I took off out of the classroom, went home. And Mum says, oh, what is the matter with you? Because we lived in a council house and it was, you know, the kitchen, everything on, and then the bedrooms there, and then the top one was our room, up like half an attic.
Yep, yep.
So the brother comes home from school a couple of hours later, says, oh, Roy got into all the bloody strife under the sun. He kicked this layman. The layman was getting wilder and he was bashing him and took all the skin off him and he ran home. Is he home? Mum said, yeah, he come home. He said he was sick. He went up to his room.
You're not telling the truth, Pop.
She come up and pulled the sheet of it and there was blood all over the sheet and pillow. She said, you tell me he was cooked? Oh, yeah. I said, yeah. Anyway, she says, I'm coming up to school. Well, he frightened shit out of Mum frightened shit out of him, this layman. She said, I'll do what you just done to my son. And
yeah.
He took her around one side of his desk. Mum was chasing him around and all the class was jumping up and down and laughing like that. Anyway, he took off out of the school. And so Mum, being a school teacher in her younger years,
yeah, she
said to the class, what's the story on this? Oh, they asked us questions and some come up. And Roy said, oh, I don't believe in that. That's all crap or bullshit. The next bloody thing she said, what happened then? Layman had gone up to the headmaster and come down and got Mum and me and the class and said, what the hell goes on here? And he said, look at him. He's got no skin on his hands. And she said, well, he'll behave himself. Otherwise, I'll give him a bloody hiding. She said, I'm capable of giving him hiding. I don't need some idiot like you. And this layman's backing off behind the headmaster.
What a wuss.
Yeah, what a wuss. Because we only had old fellas who couldn't go to the war, and we had young ones were only a few years older than us, teaching us. Anyway, one thing led to another.
So they'll either really hard or really wussy.
Wussy, yeah. Another day, and we always had prefects. And they were all the biggest blokes in the school. They were real mongrels, I reckon. Anyway, this Bobby Dick, he used to grab me when we were going up, and I was always late, so I was running up the steps, concrete stairs, going up.
Yep.
And we used to wear clogs. And then when we got up into the class, we'd take the clogs off and put these other softer shoes on.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I'm going up these stairs, and he used to slap you behind the ear and give me a whack. And I thought, geez, I'm going to get him. I'll get him. And I had a mate called Ernie Huddy. And he said, what we're going to do, he has a go at me too. So I said, well, I'm going to join the police club down there. They teach you how to fight.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, we'll go down there. We both went down. And I said, I want to learn to wrestle. And so we went there for a few weeks. And this Bobby Dick got the idea we were going to this.
Sure, yeah.
And the first thing I did was learn to grab somebody, stick my feet in their guts and chuck them over my head.
It's like the roll backwards and flip them.
And flip them down over the back.
Wrestling skills.
Yeah, and the blokes we were doing all this with on mats, everything, in the police club, youth club. And when they were all bigger blokes. And I thought, how I got this Bobby beaten, you watch. I said, I think he went in front of me, and I was the last one, and he grabbed hold of me, and as he grabbed my arm, I grabbed his shirt front, and I rolled back on the steps I'd just come up.
Yeah.
And he come with me, and I stuck my feet in his guts, and down the bloody steps he went and split his head open. And then I went down there and I pulled the shit out of him.
Jesus.
And then I took it off and went home. Well, that was the end of my school days, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
So
Thanks to the police.
got expelled, and they sent me to one of the place farms they were.
So it doesn't pay to be a bully.
No, these farms for uncontrollable children.
Yeah, right.
And so I did about 3 months there of training in those, and they send you out onto farms. And then they come and interview to see if you fit in with those families. And,
yeah, okay.
And I stopped there till I was about 14 or 15. I must have been there until I was 14, because Mum and Dad said, I think we'll go to Australia. Well, I already signed up to go in the Navy, but I had to wait until the 15th birthday, because we're coming from this bloody reform school place.
Okay, sure.
So I was waiting to go into Portsmouth, and you could only go in there after your 15th birthday as a cadet. And then you went 3 years there before you joined the other Navy for 8, 9 years or so.
Yep.
So they said, and I had my medical to go in the Navy. And then when Mum and Dad said, we're going to Australia, so I pulled the pin on the Navy. I said, well, I want to go to Australia too, so I'm not going in the Navy. So that's when I came out to Australia, 1951, June 51. I can remember Mum, when we got at Tilbury on the docks there, the boat was still the Orontes, and the boat was still tied up to the wharf. Mum got crook, and she was sick from that day till we hit the Indian Ocean, and she just wanted to die and hit the monsoon.
Yeah.
And we're coming through the Suez Canal, and we were one of the first boats to come through there after the war. And the ponds were still having trouble with Egypt and all those ones going through, and they opened the Suez Canal up. And they said, don't blink an eyelid, don't give them the thumbs up, or give them a bum steer.
Is this like you got to run down from the captain before everyone left?
Yeah, on the ship.
Yeah.
They said, don't breathe out of bloody something, because they're all riding along. You would see them on the side of the Suez Canal. They're on camels and horses, and they all got a gun sitting up on their saddle, sticking out. And we got out of there, and then when we come out, we got to Port Said and Aden, where the ship never went in alongside. You had to go out like these boats here now, on tenders.
Oh yeah, take a little boat out.
Or they came out and was buying bloody stuff. They sent something up, and you had to look at it, and then you put the money in the thing and drop the money down.
So where was this at?
Oh, Port Said, Aden.
Okay. Yep.
Before you come across the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, so I think it took us 5 weeks to come out to Australia, because we kept on stopping at these other places.
Yeah.
But that was all good fun.
Not for your mum though.
No, she was cool. They tied her to one of the stacks, somewhere they tied the deck chair. And they used to lift her up, wash underneath there, and put her back there. So all she wanted to do was die. Sort of when we hit Australia,
So why was she so sick? She just got sick before she got on the boat. Got some type of illness.
No. This was just mind over matter.
Oh, okay.
Being seasick.
Yeah, right.
And yet, when we used to go from Glasgow to the Isle of Jura, well, I couldn't remember much. We were only on there for 3/4 of a day or something. But I can't remember her being sick then. But she wouldn't eat. She just wanted to die. And once we got to Australia, she all came good. Because my Auntie Annie was out her sister.
Yep.
Down on the York Peninsula. So I went over there for 3 weeks.
Just quickly, why did they tie her down? You said
they tied the chair down what she was sitting on.
Oh, okay, and she just stayed in that spot.
We hit the monsoons in the Indian Ocean. And this ship wasn't going over them, it was going through these.
Yeah, right.
I think it looked like a mountain coming out. And the next morning you'd get all these flying fish up on the decks. Mum stopped up there, she didn't want to go any further than there. Jesus. Yes. I never seen anybody so good.
And she just felt that way for 5 weeks. Like that's man. Imagine films that. Yeah, no, good nuts. Yeah.
She'd take a sip of water and then she'd spit all that. Just when Dad would sit alongside him when he could come up there.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, we were running up and down from. We were supposed to be in second class, and we'd be up in first class. We'd go when we come across the ocean there, instead of 2 sittings in the dining room, there was only about 40 of us out of about 300 people.
Oh, okay.
They were all crook.
Yeah, right.
But us kids,
you didn't care.
We'd fit there and we'd take all the good stuff because we were up on the first class then. Yeah.
I think I talked to Mum about this before, and she said something about like it was the only time you'd seen your dad cry, or because he just felt so bad for your mum.
Yeah. And he'd been through the war. He was with Monty. He was his batman, Monty Montgomery. The one who was the British commander.
Oh, okay.
When Dad was his batman, and then when Monty went to Africa, North Africa, he went back to Belgium and France.
Oh, okay. So that's where he fits in there.
And he was in the London and in the Dunkirk bat. They just mowed them down like rabbits.
Yeah, that's crazy. They just made a film about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably sure I can't do it justice.
But him being in the artillery, he was one of the last ones to go on the landing. That slowed down. But Dad never talked to us about it.
Yeah, sure. And, so then you arrived in Australia. Like, was it you ported in like the Western Australia somewhere?
We called in at Fremantle, and then we stopped on the boat until it got to Adelaide.
Yep.
Then we worked for a bloke called D. Brown at Maitland, Manistee. And Dad had only been in the army and minor. He didn't know nothing about bloody farming.
Yeah, okay.
And then we were about 2 miles away from the homestead where my auntie and uncle and Brown and then D. Brown, their big house. And Dad had to put the horse in the trap to go over there every morning. Anyway, I did that with him.
And you had a little bit of farming skill now because you did that, yeah.
And one thing led to another, and I was there for about 3 weeks, and he said, I've got a place down at Keith, between Keith and Pappaway, in that area. And he said, I want you to go down there, and your dad would be taking truckloads of stuff down every month. And he said, I'll give you £9 a week, and you keep. That's what your father and your uncle are getting.
So you're getting the same as them?
I was going to get the same as them, and I jumped at that. I thought that was great. Went home and told Mum. Mum says, "You don't need to do silly things like that." I said, "Oh, well, there'll be more money." Anyway, I went down the southeast, and I get down there, and there was 2 Polish families. None of them could speak a word of English, and so he would ring me, the boss,
Yeah.
about once a week and say, "Well, when they finished logging there," and I was driving one of the tractors when we worked shifts, and well, I reckon it was great pushing down these bloody great log chains and things, knocking full of scrub down.
Yeah.
And then we used to go kangaroo shooting at night time. Well, I'd never been shooting. Like kangaroos, I reckon that was great. I was shooting when I was a kid.
Yeah. All the ducks and stags and whatever.
I never ever shot a deer only with a bow and arrow. And I was in the Boy Scouts, and then I got in the shit for that. It must have been somebody's pet, one of these roe deer with the spots on it.
Yeah, okay.
And I shot it through the neck with this bow and arrow. That was my Boy Scouting efforts.
Yeah, righto.
But when I went down the southeast, I stopped there for about 3.5 months, and I didn't have to spend any money. Only going in on a Saturday afternoon, we'd go into Keith to go to the picture theatre. One family would go one weekend, and the next family.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Because they never had a driver's license. I never had a driver's license. We only had a model Ford with the dicky seat.
Yeah,
model Ford T-model.
The little fold-out one on the back.
Yeah, on the back. The husband and the kids would sit in there, and I'd be driving in the front, and the wife was in the other seat.
You were driving?
With another baby. Yeah, and I'd drive in there because we never had a licence. And we used to park it about half a mile out of Keith, where the big gum tree was. Anyway, I was going in, and then they said, "Oh, my birthday was coming up," so I thought I'll go in and.
Which one are your birthdays? First or second one?
Well, Christmas. And I thought I'll go. I read this little pamphlet and went in to get, because you only had to go and answer a few questions at the local police station. And I went in there, and because I was dyslexic and got kicked out of school, I couldn't read, write things down.
Yep.
Policeman was saying, "Well, the next question is so and so," and I said, "Oh, what's the meaning of that?" And he said, "Don't you do it?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not very good at that." He was kept on looking at the clock, and he said, "Well, the next question is so and so," and I said, "Oh," he said, "Give us it here," and he took it, and he said, "The question's so and so and so and so," and I'd be humming and ahhing about it, so he put the answer.
Yeah, right.
And we got to about 10 questions. He said, "Oh yeah, there are stamped," and he said, "Give us the pound." And I'll give him the question. And he said, "Now we can go down to the pub." He said, "Oh, you've been wasting all that time. I could have been in the hotel because it was 6 o'clock close." And he would go down there and said he was on duty and kick everybody else.
Oh, and they have a drink
to 6 o'clock. And he said, "And now you could drive that car right into it."
Oh, so he knew you were parking out there all the time.
He knew what was going on. He never missed a trick at all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I stopped there for about 3 or 4 months, and then I took off. I'm sick of that. And I had a staghound greyhound, and I liked that dog. And the bloody kangaroo got on it. He always chasing roos.
Yeah,
okay. There's a little lake. And he chased this kangaroo, and the bloody kangaroo grabbed hold of him because he went in the water, and they drowned him. The bloody dog.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because people don't understand sometimes that they're really aggressive.
And they wrote this Chikarovsky. Polish. It's a bloke, he saw me and he come across with a rifle. He said, here, I'll shoot him. I said, let me shoot him. And we shot the roo, he was still sitting there, as large as bloody life, and the dog was dead. And then we shot him. And he went out and grabbed hold of it and dragged it in. Yeah, but the dog was without it. Yeah, ripped out. Anyway, I learned a bit of Polish. Well, I had to. But once the kids started going to school, about a month after, it was easy. And it only took them a few weeks to speak English.
Yeah, sure.
And then we translated it from English to Polish. Yeah. And yeah, that was. Anyway, I pulled the pin. I wanted to get back to Adelaide, and all I had was a cheque. And I goes into Keith to get a train fare, and they said, "Oh, you're only 16, I said 50," and they said, "But you're not old enough to have a cheque like this. It was 3 months' wages."
Yeah,
And
okay.
they wouldn't change it. So I thought, oh, geez, what am I going to do here? And I think I had 10 bob. And that was 10 bob. Well, yeah, well, I'll get a ride. And they wrote, no, the truck, the semis and that, or you could hear them. Anyway, I jumped in this old goods train. I thought it was going to Adelaide.
You just hopped on board your car.
Yeah, with Case.
Yeah, yeah.
I took Case.
So you snuck on, obviously.
Yeah, got in underneath the tarp. And it went for about three hours or something. And it was dark, middle of the night. And I thought, oh, we must be in Adelaide. So I get out. I couldn't see any lights.
Yeah.
And we were in the shunting yards. It was Tailem Bend. It wasn't Adelaide at all.
Yeah, right.
And Tailem Bend from Murray Bridge is about 30, 40 k's. Anyway, I decided I was going to walk across. I could see the road, and all the cars and everything going on there. So I get over there, and I'm standing on the side of the road, and a semi-trailer bloke coming on. A kid with a bloody suitcase.
Yeah.
He said, oh, I pulled up, and he said, where you going, boy? I said, I want to go to Adelaide. He said, where you come from? I said, Keith. He said, oh, you haven't walked. I said, no, I got on that train. And he laughed like buggery, eh? And he said, where do you want to go? I said, oh, Bristol Avenue, Camden Park. I said, it's not far from a racecourse. He said, oh, I know that. Yeah, I know where that is. Anyway, he said, oh, hop up. I chucked the case up, and then we nattered all the way for a while. And we get there, go down the Devil's Elbow, and that's another story I'll come to later.
Okay, cool.
And he took me down there, and he took me down to Mum's. The semi-trailer pulls up at Mum's place at 8 o'clock the next morning. She pulls my dad out of bed because he'd been working shift. And she said, there's a semi-trailer out there. And there's somebody with a suitcase. Anyway, she comes out in a dressing gown. She says, oh, boy, what are you doing here? I said, oh, this bloke here, the semi-trailer bloke, he gave me a ride. She said, well, where did you come from? I said, oh, I got sick of it down there, and I just got a check sent down, and then nobody would change it. And I said, and this guy, he picked me up, this big bloke he was. She said, oh, well, come in and have a cup of tea, but the husband he'll be glad to see you. Thanks very much. So he came in and had a cup of tea. Away he went.
Yeah, okay.
So then I
wonder what when he went and told his friends, like, I just picked up this random kid.
a pom.
Yeah, this random English kid in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Anyway, I hung around Adelaide for about 2 weeks, and I saw cowboys wanted, or station hands.
Yeah.
In the Northern Territory, or on the border of South Australia. So I thought, went in there, Bennett Fish, And they said, oh yeah, well if you come in Monday morning and the train leaves at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll give you your ticket.
And you actually get to sit in a seat this time, not on the baggage.
And so they said that more likely take 2 days to get there to happening there. It's not there anymore. Bypasses. And you get there. I'll get on the train. I didn't know where the hell I was going. We could see it on the map, a little dot right on the border. That was Tynong Station. Tynong and New Crown and Mount Capital was all one under one family. And I get up there and I stopped there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Tynong. And yeah.
What was your first impressions, doing that kind of lifestyle? Because obviously it's totally different what you've been doing.
Yeah, well, when I went up there, they said, can you ride a horse? And when I went into Ben & Fisher's there, they said to the first thing, can you ride a horse? And I said, oh, I've only ridden a draft horse in the cart. They said, what do you mean? And they'd never heard of a draft horse in the cart. They sort of giggled to themselves.
Yeah.
They said, oh, well, you'll have plenty of horses up there where you're going, but I'd advise you not to say you can ride a horse when you get there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a bit different.
Otherwise, they take the piss out of you. And off I went anyway. Well, when I pulled up in the middle of the night off the train, there was no platform. It was just you got off the train and then an old bloke came across. He had a little hat, station master it was supposed to be, but there was no station. It was happening. And he ready to go off and he said, where are you going? And I'm sitting there with a suitcase.
Yeah.
Going to the station, cattle station. And I bought myself a hat.
Oh dear, no. You didn't?
Yeah.
So you're a real cowboy?
Oh, yeah. And he said, oh, well, this Peter Severin from Tynong, he's the overseer of head stockman. He'll come in, but he won't leave until, say, 6 in the morning. He'll take all day to get here, it'll take all day to get back.
Yeah, okay.
Because they've got these big creeks to go. Oh, I get that. And he said, oh, you better come across and have a cup of tea with me, Willie. And I go over to his place, and he's got a big old gin there. And she's supposed to be there was only one big room. And he gave me this cup of tea you could stand a spoon up in.
Yeah, right.
And it was black, and it was a dirty pannikin.
Yeah.
Pannikin
Yeah.
that goes in the top of the
Metal cup.
Quart pot. And I got in there spewed it. What was that?
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Nodding your head. Yeah.
So I sat there all day, and he was telling me all the stories of how he'd come up into the bush years ago. And he'd run away from his first wife, and he was living with this gin. And she was a good woman, but she don't want to shower, she don't want to wash. I have to chuck a bucket of water over everything.
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't believe all the story he was telling me. Before the war and all this running other people's stock. Kidman, who was supposed to be Sir Kidman, Kidman was one of the biggest rustlers all the way down. He had a 10-mile strip from the Barclay Tablelands down around the bottom of Lake Eyre and up into Queensland. But he mustered everything on four legs.
Yeah, okay.
All the way to, if it never had a brand on, he'd take the calves, like the yearlings, away from their mothers, turn the mother back, and same with horses.
Yeah, okay. That's how he got his stock.
Well,
like, you just gathered other people's stock.
Yeah, I was talking to one lad who he worked for him, Kidman. And they were sitting around the campfire one night. And he said, "You're sacked." The young bloke, "Why? What have I done?" He said, "You can't look after your interests, you can't look after mine." He said, "Well, what have I done?" He said, "It's not what you've done, it's how you've done it." He said, "You've got a light there, the fire's going, and you're using a match to light a cigarette."
Right.
He said, "You're out."
So because he wasn't a tight ass.
Yeah. And he never got paid. And it took him 2 weeks before they got somewhere where he could piss off.
Right.
Yeah, that's how Kidman made his money, ripping off everybody else. And then he still had the audacity to run other people in who had some of his stock, what he reckoned was his. But they were their stock running on his only 10-mile strip.
Yeah.
And well, one of them was Jim Smith. He got him put in jail.
Who's Jim Smith?
He was a brother to Frank Smith, the bloke I went up on.
Oh, okay.
He owned Toyle.
Yep.
And his son owned New Crown. And his son-in-law, where the Sundown murder was, Mount Kavanagh, Sundown was just an outstation.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
And,
And so your first days on the station, so you got picked up, you're off the train.
went back in an old truck.
Yep.
That because he used to go in about once a fortnight and pick any groceries up. They used to get a bag of potatoes, a couple of cases of fruit, stuff like that. Well, that was about the only contact we had with the outside world, unless we bring a cattle down or something. And, I stopped out there. Learnt a lot. Got my ass kicked a few times. Got a whelping a couple of times with a couple of blokes.
Oh, you've been smart.
No, I just told them that, well, I was always the smallest
Yeah.
of blokes on there. And if we were cutting out cattle, I always used to go on the camp trail. And the others would be put holding the camping because we never had any yards.
Yeah.
It was all open. And when we were branding, they used to have a calf horse, and one on the calf horse has to throw a rope on one of the calves, Mickey's, pull them up into a V, and the rope will run into the V, and then as the others boys that throw leg ropes on them to stretch them out and they drop, then the head rope will come off and you go into the mob and get it on.
Yeah. And then meanwhile they're branding,
Yeah.
calf spray, whatever.
Yeah. And he wrote this bloke called Ronnie Hughes. He was supposed to be the Ernest Pants buddy. Roper. And he wrote, I'd always been playing with rope. And he said, "Hey, Roy, get him off that bloody horse. It's wasted time. What's the matter with you?" To this Ronnie Hughes. So he took him off the horse, put me on, and I roped a couple of horses the first throw. And he said, "That's what you should have been doing." So Ronnie, well, he got a real shitty on.
Yeah, okay.
From that day on, his nose was out of joint. If they were running horses, because I was a small because we used to run horses from across a mountain down, because there was more horses than cattle. And we used to put down, 100 horses at a time.
Just brumbies everywhere.
Yeah. But we'd pick out some horses out of them all. And I was always the one who had to be on the run, because I was the smallest. I could go further.
Didn't wear the horse out.
Jump off one horse and onto the next one and then take off. Because when you're mustering horses, you only get the tail end of them. And the ones who are up in the lead, they're the ones you've got to get rid of.
Yeah, okay.
Or they're good horses. The others are all mares and foals. Yeah.
So this Ronnie bloke.
Oh, Ronnie Hughes.
He had this.
Yeah.
You were better than him, and
Right.
he's
And then we went to the races in the Fink. We used to go to the races every year.
sure.
And we took horses. New Crown took horses. Mount Dare took horses. And there, York took horses. Anyway, Ronnie, he finished up. He went back to New Crown, which is a half station of ours, Obsmith. And I was with Frank and Peter Severin and Max Riddle, made of one I'm not to him. And get into the race meeting because I was always the smallest.
Yeah.
And Peter Severin's brother was a jockey, and Peter always had to pick all the horses around the place. So I had a little horse called Freedom. It was one I used for cutting out cattle.
Yep.
On the face of cow.
So just fast, agile.
Yeah. And he, I knew there wasn't anybody who could catch me on him for about 5 furlongs.
Yeah.
Anyway, this Ronnie Hughes was swaggering around how he was going to win the next race on the Friday or the Saturday or whatever it was. Anyway, I was trying to chat up this red of the shoe with me.
Wow.
Anyway,
Just trying to slay.
Ronnie's Hugh, Ronnie Hughes, his brother was Murray Hughes. Ronnie was trying to do a line with her only how I finished up with it. Anyway,
On your pop.
on the Friday, I think it was, or Saturday, I said, I'm going to win this next race. And they said, no, you can win the one on the Monday. Race on Sunday. So it must have been Saturday or wherever it was. Anyway, I lined up there and I was shitted in this race, and Ronnie Hughes was on in the same race.
Yep.
But he was about 10 stone and I was about 7 stone. And I left him behind and waved to him.
Oh, rubbing salt in the wound.
At any rate, I won it was called the ladies' bracelet.
Yeah.
And I gave it to this HOWLIN McLeod.
Is this the redhead chick?
Yeah.
Oh, you sly dog.
And then I won she worked in the Flying Doctor's base on the radio in the mornings. To, so this is happening, this is happening. And every time I wanted to talk to her, I'd go into the office and back at the station and talk to her. And everybody in the territory knew what we were saying.
Oh, what? You could hear was on the radio?
Yeah.
Oh.
It came up, if anybody had the radio switched on, and everybody used to leave their radio switched
on. So did she know she was broadcasting this stuff, or?
Well, just didn't worry her.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Were you using your best wines?
No, I don't know. The opposite of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Mum has told me a story about when you first arrived on that station about sleeping on a windmill. Was that
there? Yeah, they put you out there to pump water.
Yeah, okay.
When there's the dams are full and the cattle have got to walk so far to get water. So I finished up Peter Severin. He said, I'm going to put you out there, because he used to call me Josh, because his school teacher was a Pom.
Yeah.
And his name was Josh, so he nicknamed me Josh. And he's still Josh. I'm still Josh when I ring him up.
Yeah, so you're still in contact with him?
I still keep in contact with Peter. He's got Curtin Springs out as Ayers Rock there.
Yeah.
You've got to go through there to get to Yarra or Ayers Rock. Anyway, he sent me out there with a bag of flour and some potatoes and a bag of salt meat. He said, I'll be back in 3 days. And 3 days come, 4 days come, 5 days come.
Jesus.
So I'd climb up on this Comet windmill, sit up on top of it, pull it out of gear, sit there, and I was imagining I could hear a truck. I could hear, and then I'd imagine I'd see a dust coming up because it was you'd get up there on top of it. You could see the moulder from miles. And about that, of a night time, I couldn't sleep the first night. These bloody dingoes would come on the sand and just sit up outside the window.
Yeah.
And the trough, they'd come in there for water. And they'd follow any cows with what would bring calves in with them. And the dogs used to get there. And so the first night I got cold shivers. I never slept. I kept on pushing all the firewood out onto the fire. So you get cold shivers. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I built on the windmill, the second tier.
Yeah.
I put branches and trees and everything up there.
Yeah.
Put the swag up in there and I slept up
So,
in the windmill.
so you made like a tree house in the
Yeah.
frame of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I stopped up there in the daytime and come down, cranked it. They had a little shed over the pump water.
Yeah.
So I had to keep on filling it up so it didn't stop. Every time it was getting down on fuel, you'd fill it up.
Yeah.
And in the end, I used to shut all the bloody gates, then I wouldn't have to get up through the night. And the cattle could wait till the
Oh, God.
yeah.
Yeah, how long? So, and then you were up there for a long time, obviously, for a few years.
Yeah, I was up there for a couple of years, 2.5 years.
Yep.
And then they started building fences. They put one around the homestead, and I think that was 10 square miles for milking cows.
Yeah, right.
And horses, so you kept back at the station. There might have been 20 horses.
And then, so yeah, so you finished up there then, obviously. And where are you off to next?
Oh, well,
Well, how old were you when you finished up
there?
Yeah.
I might have been maybe 17,
Yeah.
16, or 17. And some fellas come up there to fencing contractors. And I would sit down and tell them stories at night time. We'd go out to their camp, wherever they were. And they always telling that this one was one of the Reek brothers. Teddy Reeks, I think his name was. Well, he was telling me about shearing and how you could make money out of shearing. He said, never make any money working on a cattle station.
Yeah.
Because we got £3 a week and no keep. And tobacco.
No keep.
And keep.
And keep, yeah. And tobacco.
Yeah. And ammo for rifles and guns. Yeah. And he was telling me about shearing, and he held the record for it.
Yeah, okay.
Because they were fencing contractors, and his two brothers. They used to make a lot of money fencing. They get on good country, they do it a couple of days. He said, that's the sort of thing you want to do. I said to Max, on the territory. He came up there because his girlfriend came up there as the governess.
Yeah. Taking care of the kids, cooking.
And helping in the house.
Yeah. And
then Max, he fell in love with her. And he left there and so I said, oh, you're leaving, I'll go anyway. he was chasing her and he caught one of the other station hands messing around with her.
Yeah.
So he gave her a bloody hiding down this bloke. He was a cocky son from down the southeast.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what his
I guess it's kind of hard when you got probably the ratio of men to
Well,
women
we
is
went
pretty
to-
low.
We went to a dance there. There was one Sheila to 12 bucks.
Holy.
And that,
She would have been danced off her feet.
and that's what happens in all the outback towns.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, for years and years. They held a shearer's ball once when we were at Glimmer. And there was only 2 shooters there. And there was three
Good
shearing
for the
teams there.
chicks, I suppose. Yeah, they got the pick.
At that age, that's the same when we were on the cattle station. We brought cattle down to the data. And when we put the cattle in the yards and had the plant hobbled out, he gave us £5. There was two of them were 20, 21. And Peter, he stopped back at the plant because he didn't drink then, and he was the overseer.
Yeah.
And the old fellow, he must have been tracking some shooter down the track with who was all these fettlers' houses and that. So we didn't see him. But the copper came in, and here's about 5 of us, all with a pint of beer. And I wouldn't have been any more than I was 16 or 17. And he said, walked in and said, get out, get out, get out, get out. Another bloke called Reg Orban, Frank. Frank was on granite now, so Reg was with us. He said, I don't get out. Why do I have to get out? He said, I don't have any underage drinkers. And he was only a little bloke. He hadn't been on the station long. He said, well, I drank in Adelaide for about a year. He said, I'm 22. He said, I don't care how old you are, get out.
Yeah.
And this was a bloke called Danny Hemwood. And the story I get back from when, after I got married. We left it and we got kicked out of the pub. I got kicked out of a lot of pubs. But when I started shearing, well, we didn't want shearers in the town.
Oh, yeah. Because you guys run them up.
Anyway, I come down, we went on sheep stations, had a yunter in there, and I couldn't handle sheep, too bloody stupid.
True. Can confirm.
Move them on the cattle, but you can't.
No.
And I said to Fred, I started, a couple of those come through and they were doing the crutching. I was supposed to be sweeping the board for them. He said, oh, you want to go? No, Kiwi bloke. And I said, oh, yeah, all right. So I did a couple, made the best of it.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, no, yeah, you do it by yourself tomorrow. And within about 4 days, I was crutching 60 or 70 in between sweeping the board.
Yeah, right.
And they were doing something like 500, 600. So I said, oh, you don't want to stop on these bloody stations. Why don't you go and shear it? Anyway, I goes to Adelaide. And I said, oh, and I met an old bloke, old Garney, and another half-caste bloke called, what was his name? I can't think of his name. That's another story. Anyway, I went into stock owners and old Garney come in and they were looking for shearers. And old Garney said, oh, Roy, how you going, boy? And I said, oh, all right. Oh, what are you doing here? I said, oh, I want a learner's pen. And he said to the boss of the overseer, what is that? Fell. in Stockholm. Yeah, Ted Felt. That's what it is. And old Granny said, "I got just a bloke for you. You'll shear 150 a day." And he's a bloody learner. No. He said, "Oh, if it's that good, he could start with this half cast." Keith Garton. Anyway, now he could shear that. Big fella.
Yeah.
Anyway, they sent us down to Tumby Bay on the southeast, and by that time I'd had a ute. And I started, I went with him. We did Tumby Bay, then we're supposed to go to Thistle Island, and I'd be shearing along to got me 100, and he'd shear 200.
He was an animal, was he? Yeah.
And he was one of the best half casts I ever get. Okay. If he was off the booze, great bloke you wouldn't find. We'd go into Port Lincoln the weekend, Friday night.
Yeah.
And if there's anything, dances on or anything, I'd go chasing them, and they'd go over to the Blackfoot camp, Woods camp. We'd be chasing with auntie or cousin or second cousin or something. Always be. Then a Sunday night, I'd go looking for him. I wonder where he is. "Oh, you're looking for your mate?" "Okay." "Yeah." I said, "I've been to the jail, he's not there. I've been to the other camp, he's not there." "Oh, no, he'd been gone with his bloody cousin, gone to Portugal."
Oh.
I said, "Forgot, how'd he get there?" He said, "Oh, they got a ride." Anyway, they get to Port Augusta and they run out of money, didn't they? Because he'd got his check, and they just
spent it on
when
booze.
it went.
Yeah.
And they weren't allowed to have grog in those days. But when I was shearing with him, that's when I first started drinking long necks. And both of us would have 2 long necks. And he'd say, "You shear a lot of sheep, boy. You drink 2 long necks a night, that's it. You just stop at that 2. So you go over your 2, you won't be a shearer."
What do you reckon? Because it'll affect you the next day.
Yeah. Because either you go there to shear sheep, or if you want to not do what you want to do. Yeah, okay. We come down, we finished Tumby Bay, and the stock owners rang up and said, "Oh, your next shed's down at Land Coop in Victoria."
Yeah, right.
So this was on a Wednesday. We get there, and I said to Keith, "Oh, well, I'll take you home, and then I'll go down to Camden Park. That's where my dad lived." So they were in the old fellas, the Lady Gowry's Ride that used to be onto Outer Harbour. All the black fellas had humpies down there and little shacks.
Yeah, okay, it was a bit like a mission.
Yeah. Some woman owned it. They call it the Goat Farm.
Okay.
Largs Bay, down to Outer Harbour. Go down there, I dropped him off, and there was a light off, and he's out in one room, and goes in there, and then there's another bloody crash, and he threw this bloke out through the window.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone been doing the dirty?
Yeah, he was in bed with his missus, and the next bloody thing, she's thrown out through the front door, horror naked. She took off across the paddock, and the other bloke had gone somewhere. And I said, "I'm off." No, come back here. You come back here, boy. I said, "No, I'll see you Sunday night." "All right, yeah. And I turned up Sunday night. There used to be the city bars we all used to meet, and we were out going wherever we were going, all the shearers.
Yeah.
And I get there, and Keith said, "Oh, yeah," he said, "but I had the police there." He said, "You're not allowed to throw people through windows. You're not allowed to belt your missus up."
True.
And he said to this cop, he said, "You look after your white wives. I look after my black wife.
Yeah, right. What do you mean by that?
He'd do it his way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
And I used to say he didn't like Italians and he didn't like police. But if you said to him, come on, Keith, come along with us, you'd be okay. But if you try to grab hold of him, you're in trouble.
Yeah, okay.
Because they used to use him. He used to be a bit of a pug, Keith. And there had this, they used to have these boxing groups go around the town. You come out, you want to fight this bloke of ours, we'll give you £5
If you beat him.
if you beat him. But no, you could hit old Keith with a number 3 to 2 and that was no. He'd walk into the ring and dance around and he'd say to the bloke, he's going to fight. Do you always do a dance? Is that a war dance? When he'd get in. And they said, I built shit out of you. And they ran old Keith, he might take the first swing, but that was the end. And Keith would go in, bang, bang, bang. And he'd be down there. You got another bloke here, give me another £5, I'd take your next bloke. And he said, no.
And you're already showing us up?
We got down the southeast, and another mob came down there. It could have been the same mob. You know, get in the ring, you knock our bloke over, we give you £5. I'll keep lined up there. Oh, yeah, I'll go over, I'll have another go. And they said, no, mate, you bloody did killed our last bloke. So no, you can't fight any of our boys.
I guess that's just not part of the culture, but just the situation they're in. I guess they're always big fighters.
Oh, yeah. And he was a bloody good bloke when he wasn't on the crop. Yeah, I stopped with him for 8 months or something, sure. And I went with private contractors. We went to Ernadata. We used to shear at Ernadata when nobody else was shearing in the state. We did that. Duckhole, that was a manager of Kidman's. Manapari, Evelyn Downs, and they've all gone back to cattle now.
Yeah. It's easier, I suppose, with less blokes, I guess. I don't know what the situation is.
Yeah, the overheads on those stations. You haven't got, where there was 10 or 15 working on the station. There's 2 or 3 now.
Yeah.
Because we've got helicopters and they can contract all that. And they've got fences.
Yeah, true. So how old are you now? How old are you, at this stage in your life?
Oh, I was 83 yesterday.
No.
What are you talking about?
No, at this stage of the story,
Oh, well. 17, 18?
Yep.
19? Yeah, because I come down and when I wasn't shearing, I used to be rigging for cricket road. Still was rigging. An Irish ex-Navy boat myself. So there was no high-rise buildings in those days.
You mean here in Adelaide, yeah.
Well, it got hot up north. I didn't like working in the heat. So I'd go to Adelaide and get a job rigging. That was a good job.
Yeah. Well, what about this? How about you want to wrap this part up now?
Yeah,
and
we'll have a cup of coffee.
And we'll maybe tomorrow we'll take up from now, from then.
Yeah, all right.